What's up, guys? Let's talk about canceling loads. As an owner operator, should you be able to cancel load anytime? You run your own business after all, right?
Yeah, I think you can say no to loads if you don't want it in the first place, but canceling it, I mean, I get it. There's some
Why not if I run my own business? Why not?
So here's, because a lot of people lose from that, right? So let's say in our platform, the way we do business, booking that load's associated to an MC, a DOT. A lot of brokers are tracking you and your performance. So if you're canceling loads at the last minute, hey, you can get freight guarded. They can stop giving you these loads. You are no longer a premium carrier. It's just poor business practice. There's going to be guys that do that operate their businesses like that. But again, it's who you're involving yourself with, right? Live by the sword, die by the sword. How many times have you gone to a certain location and the broker or a customer is canceling loads on you, and maybe they just gave it to somebody else who got a cheaper rate?
Yeah, fair enough. And let me tell you what happens when we do that for us. We put them down. We put them down, and we to the best of our ability, unless we can resolve it, and unless we can, kind of. If you know these guys and this is not the practice that we do, it's just maybe something happened to the load, maybe something happened to the shipper, receiver, obviously there is truck order not used involved, all that stuff. So that can be worked out, but again,
Right.
Only if the people on the other end of the phone are working with us, we will continue working with them. But if somebody like, TQL, if somebody like that going to just cancel random loads and leave drivers hanging, what's going to happen? We haven't pulled a single load with TQL since 2012.
TQL.
So this is what happens. So now think about this. If this happens to a small carrier like us, the bigger companies, obviously bigger brokerage companies, we have better tools where we can do a couple of things. We can either take the carrier off the list. We sometimes we grade the carriers also. So we have the green carrier, the yellow, the red, or whatever other code form we do use. So if we have a carrier who's randomly canceling loads, now it comes at the cost. First of all, we may not work with that carrier anymore to begin with. Right. Good times, bad times, don't matter. And remember, just because that load that you didn't like and decided to turn back, not to take it, but turn back once you took it. That goes, one stone into your basket. And it can go both ways. It can go against the carrier. Also, we will attach you as a driver to that system. So what's going to happen next? Let's say you work for one of those carriers that just allow this to happen because we don't care about their future and the future of their owner operators. You go to the next carrier, and now everyone else at that carrier can run these loads, but the carrier cannot give you any of these loads because their customer said, if this guy ever gonna show up, he's not gonna get loaded, and there is gonna be no truck order not used. So enter at your own risk. And that's kind of the other side of it.
Right, and again, we're not talking about the onesie twosies when things happen. I mean, the trucks break down, accidents happen.
Absolutely, but and everything is reasonable.
But even in those instances, I mean, there's been times where carriers have to send them proof.
Absolutely,
a receipt, this or that, and just not to get tarnished. So there are carriers out there that work hard towards keeping up that reputation because it's a lot. It's part of the package that we can offer the owner operators. So again, the higher rates, the better loads, everything that comes with that. So if you start going down that avenue of just giving back those loads, unfortunately, that comes at a cost, and that cost is going to be everybody who runs under that DOT number.
Absolutely. So for example, the guy kicks back a few loads, happen to be that same broker or shipper, and now that carrier may no longer be able to get those loads, and those loads may be very perfectly fine for somebody else. I can give one example. $2 a mile out of Pennsylvania. Not bad, right? Like in general terms, not bad. the driver decides to turn it back. Good, bad, indifferent, I don't know. Sometimes good driver can have one bad day every 2 years or so. It happens. Can happen. But again, as I believe it's a carrier's responsibility towards their customers and their other customers who are other owner operators who are here to conduct the business, because we put the trust in us. We put their business in our hands, trusting us to do what's best for them. And now as a carrier, if we're gonna ignore, the guy who is just fly by, don't give a crap, cancel this, cancel that, this guy is gonna be potentially gone in days, weeks, months, who knows. But the damage created will stay with a carrier and will affect the people who has been here for a long time.
Yeah, and even a prime example, I mean, one carrier, one broker, probably real small, but at the same time, something that happened years ago because a rogue dispatcher did something bad. Dispatcher's moved on, he's on his second life, he's doing something different for himself and all that. And every now and then it'll pop up a really good load. Guess what? Something you did this long time ago comes back to haunt you. Yeah, it's only one load at that moment, but what if that was that one time, that one load for 225 out of Pennsylvania? Yeah. So it comes back. So the point is, yeah, that's an isolated incident. It's very small. It shows up once every blue moon. But again, because we don't allow it to happen. So if your business model is to take a load, hold it until another load is better and drop that one and take the better one, that phone in those instances starts to ring and become more common. And then you operate in chaos.
Yes, but in general, that could work, but only for a very short period of time. And again, some carriers would say, you know what, let's just start a new authority every couple of months, and we're just gonna burn everyone along the way, as long as we can get the top dollar and leave this burning things behind us. The problem with that is that if you do that, you are consistently a new carrier, which means you are so high up the rate in the risky carrier list that you already not starting with the best rates to begin with.
Right.
The only way that could make that work, and again, that would only work for a very short period of time, especially now. Back in the day when people were dispatching of the phone books, that was different thing. But as of right now, with current technology, you can have a good carrier, jump into that delusional model of business. I'm sure we can pull it off for a month or two, but that would be it.
And then just the other side of that too. Imagine back in the day when you were driving, how about a phone call every 3 months and, hey Mike, I'm sending you a new DOT number, just go ahead and peel the old one off and put this one on. So how many times before you say, where am I? What am I actually doing here?
Yeah, that too. And look, that comes with all kinds of liability. Do you really want to be a part of that?
Right.
And not just liabilities. Think about the money as well, because the carrier that's willing to do that, what else are we willing to do?
Yeah.
It comes with a package, so just watch out for your business.
And look at the big picture. Look at the big picture. There's tons of things that you have to look at. Again, it's not just about that one load that's going to get you out of that good or bad area just right there. It's about the holistic view. We always talk about that way. It's important to understand, you're in it for the long run.
And in general, what is like a lot of times I hear the drivers say, like, F this cheap broker. I'm like, hold on, my friend. Here's the catch. Remember that $3 a mile load last week?
That was him last week.
That was him. The only reason you get that because that's the best there is at that day in that place, and this guy is actually helping us out. But just because it doesn't meet your personal expectations, now he's a cheap broker or cheap customer, and let him burn. You do that, the next time that same guy who was so helpful, booking other freight, the good freight, the best freight that there is, now he is no longer willing to give you the best freight. He can only give you the garbage that nobody cares. So for example, Exactly, the garbage loads, where you can get there at any time, get loaded at any time. If you're late with your delivery, it doesn't matter. And even if your trailer with that whole garbage burns, that's actually a better business for them.
Than getting the delivery.
Because now we not only have to pay to recycle it, now the carrier's insurance is gonna pay them for recycling it. And this is pretty much how it works. And you don't want to be this guy.
And so, and again, it's market trends, because just like you said, like based off of today, what is it, July 23rd maybe?
22nd.
22nd, the day ahead. Based off of today, Texas in the last few days has been really good. And the tide will turn. And at some point, those very same brokers that were giving you those kick-ass rates out of Texas will no longer be kick-ass rates. And it doesn't mean they're bad guys at now just because it's not in your favor. It just means somebody else, somewhere else is probably a little bit better. And they can only do what's trending. That's really what it comes down to.
And also, look, we've been in business long enough. We know people on the other side. We have people who came from brokerage in to work here. If you think that the rates are dropping down to like $1.50 a mile, and if you think that broker still gets $3.50 a mile and he's a happy camper, no,
No, man.
because every broker out there outbidding this guy, and he ain't getting nothing even close to that. So, it's survival of fittest. The best price wins. If I can give you one more example, just to kind of relate to whatever happens. Let's say if you order something from Amazon, and you are given multiple shipping options. You can ship with Joe's Trucking, UPS, FedEx. Here's the pricing. And let's say you decide to ship with Joe's Trucking because it's a little bit less money or same amount of money but quicker delivery. And you choose that option, and now you're waiting for your package, and the last minute you get an email, shipping delay, Joe's Trucking fell off. Now, who knows now? You need to look into other shipping options. Let me tell you, the next time you buy something from Amazon again, and you have the same options, Joe's Trucking, FedEx, UPS, you're never gonna choose the Joe's Trucking again.
Because of that experience.
Because of that experience, and because everyone's so much connected, man. Like, I know some brokers that sometimes offers me the rates that I hate them and their rates and their shippers and the receivers. But at the end of the day, after being in this for so long, I know that same guy yesterday gave me the best load there was out of that area. I know that this same guy, when opportunity is going to be there, will take care of me somewhere else where there is a capacity to do that.
And that's all it is. You just got to learn to navigate in that, and that's the business, man. That's everything that's behind it. That's what's behind the scenes, and it really doesn't get that complicated. But that's just giving back loads and doing that, or even brokers who, they have, just like TQL, once they have a reputation, there are people that won't work with them. Will there be people that work with them? Yeah, absolutely. But there's also a few that will not.
Yeah, and wait, not just TQL. Like this whole list of things right here. That's the people we would never haul a freight for.
Yeah, because we protect our customers, the owner-operators, not to send them into trouble, because it's not worth it.
Absolutely.
Everything that shines isn't gold. So even if that rate looks really, really good, what comes with that?
No, absolutely. And a lot of times, look,
8-hour unload and no detention.
Especially if noticed brokers, before we go out of business, before that letter from the bankruptcy lawyer, man, we offer crazy rates. The only problem is it's easy for them to offer because we have no plans paying you. And that's what happens.
Yeah.
So anyway, don't be this guy. Don't be canceling loads. Think about others and yourself as well, because remember, the technology is improving, and you personally are being marked as that guy who nobody wants to work with, and that's pretty much it. And on our end, the only reason we don't do that, because this is not how we conduct the business, and that's not what we promised to our owner-operators who trust their business to our handling.
That is true. So, all right, guys, you got comments, questions, experiences, please put them in the comments. Until next time, please drive safe.
Yeah, and let me know how you told that broker that you're never going to take his load anymore in the comments below. Take care, guys.